Hi, it's Janet here from McNeill Real Estate, and today I just wanted to talk about a bit of a topic which is relevant in Victoria, and it's in relation to a seller or vendor being able to get access to the deposit before settlement. So in Victoria it's called a Section 27, and that is for the early release of deposit. So what happens is the seller, and if there's a mortgage, their bank has to provide certain information on this document to give to a purchaser. The purchaser then will do their due diligence to make sure that if the deposit is released, there's enough money left in the balance of the purchase price to pay out any mortgage. Because if there's not, then basically you won't be able to access your deposit early. So just to explain, for example, if you're selling your house and the sale price is $700,000, your deposit will be 10%, so that's $70,000. So let's say that you actually owe the bank $400,000. So you've got your $700,000, okay, less the $70,000, which is the deposit, which is held in the agent or conveyancer's trust account. And the balance between the sale price less the deposit is $630,000. So in this instance, the bank is only owed $400,000. The money left over, if the deposit was to release, is $630,000. That means that basically this money can be released simply because there's enough money in the balance to pay out the mortgage. Okay, so that sort of explains that. However, in this instance, $700,000 is the price you sell your property for. You still get your $70,000 deposit, so 10%, $70,000. But if, for example, you owe $650,000, and that may well obviously be, you might have used extra security in the property to buy something else, or there might be maybe a commercial loan attached to it, something like that, but you actually owe $650,000. Therefore, when the purchase price less the deposit that's already been paid, the balance of money that is being paid by the purchaser is $630,000. In that instance, there is not enough money to pay the bank. So in that instance, that would be a big cross. You would not get your deposit before settlement. Now, again, it's not automatic that you get it, so you can serve your Section 27. So basically the bank has to provide the information, if there's a bank involved, of how much money you owe, whether there's any redraw facilities, what the interest rate is, and how much they're expecting to come out of the sale. They provide that to your conveyancer, who then does what we call serves that on the purchaser. So they'll send that to the purchaser's conveyancer, and then the purchaser has 28 days basically to do their due diligence. So that means they're going to check that document and just basically go through this process and decide whether or not there will be enough money left in the balance of the purchase price to pay out any money owing to that bank. So that document is lodged on the purchaser, as I say, or their conveyancer. Then they have got 28 days to actually do that due diligence. So this is this section here, 28 days. So during that 28 days, the purchaser can agree and go, yep, that's fine, sign off, yes, we're happy for the deposit to be released, or they can do nothing. If they do nothing and don't respond, don't object or anything, then after 28 days has elapsed, they are able, the vendor is then able to receive the release of deposit. A Section 27 is only actually served, or at least the money also released, if it's an unconditional sale. So obviously if there were any special conditions still relating to that property, for example, it might be subject to the sale of another property, and that condition has not been met, then the deposit won't be released. Irrespective of how much you owe, even if you owe nothing, you won't get that deposit early until at least all of the conditions are met. So there's a lot of different aspects that come into the fact of, you may or you may not get that money. You are entitled to serve a Section 27, but the purchaser is also required to check that and just make sure they're happy with everything. So the best thing to do, speak to your conveyancer, whether you're buying or selling, speak to your conveyancer, get their advice on whether or not your property is applicable and what will happen if you don't get that deposit. So hope that's helpful. As I say, it only relates to Victoria, but good luck and happy buying and selling. And if you have any questions, give me a call.